All right, we are now joined by my Pelicans teammate. A lot of people know this guy, Zion Williamson.
The young legend
in the building. Legend in the building. We were just talking, but this is the first podcast you've ever done.
First one.
I feel like this is like a rookie duty that you're fulfilling for me. Like the vet asking the rookie to do something. This is you coming on my pod.
A little
I
bit.
haven't done, what have I done? I've not asked you to do anything, right?
You have not asked. I think we have the easiest rookie duties out of the entire league.
What's he like as a teammate?
That's a
Let's just get into
That's
this.
a great question. I think it depends on in what situation you ask. Off the court, you can learn a lot from him, and I'm not BSing any answers. Off the court, you can learn a lot from him through his 13 now, 14? 14 years of experience. On the court, you can see that he's been with great teams, and he knows what it takes to win. I think the first serious moment I had with JJ was first time in the locker room. It was just me and him. He was like, Z, I'm 13 for 13. Like, don't mess this up for me.
Don't fuck this up.
And I was like,
Don't fuck this up.
JJ,
I said that.
What were the stories like? Did you ever get any Duke stories about him?
Oh yeah, did you hear any
different
stories
JJ.
about me at Duke?
Yeah, I heard a lot of stories. Good, depending on who you are.
I'm sure Coach K said some good things about me.
Oh, Coach K said a lot of great things about you. Coach K's way of saying it was, JJ Redick is a dude that if you work hard, you can make the league. 6'4" white guy, 13 years.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I feel like he's kind of knocking my skill level, honestly. I want to go back to the rookie thing real quick. First of all, I feel like we as a team have not really made you guys do a lot of stuff. There's nothing ridiculous. There's been no popcorn in anyone's cars. Nobody's wearing pink Hello Kitty book bags, right? What is the one thing that me and the commission of vets that we said has to be done? What is the one thing?
I think the one thing I said that has to be done is the rookies just have to bring Chick-fil-A onto the plane to buy
The rookies have to bring Chick-fil-A.
And I was Chick-fil-A, or is it?
I was very specific about the rules about Chick-fil-A. It's only expected to be on the plane on a fly-out day, right? Either when we have practice or we're leaving New Orleans, right? Maybe meet at the plane, 2:00, practice, plane at 1, whatever. What happened today?
I asked the same question. As soon as I walked onto the plane, everybody was already there. I think I was the last one, and I didn't see any Chick-fil-A. And I started looking at like where all the rookies sit. I said, all right, there goes Melly, there's Jackson, there's Nikhil. Oh man, there's no Chick-fil-A. So I'm just kind of saying, you know what, I'm gonna sit on the side and like play it off, see if like anybody notices. And then I hear JJ and Drew over here. You know what? Let's see when they get those per diems. Let's see what's gonna happen. I'm like, you know what? I'm just kind of.
The per diems had already been passed out by the time I found out that there was no Chick-fil-A. But the next trip next week, I think everybody's per diem for the trip is like $650. You multiply that by 4, that's $2,600. That's about a technical foul.
Yep.
So I feel like that's a fair fine for this time, missing the Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is also such an easy thing to do for the plane.
Order it
Everybody
online.
likes it.
You can order on an app.
Everyone
There's an
likes it.
app. It's so easy to pick up. So being that this is your first podcast, I don't feel like people don't know a lot about you. Obviously, the basketball, the dunking, right? They know that part of it. How would you describe yourself off the court? How would you describe yourself?
I think I'm a goofy character who likes to have a lot of fun, but I think I'm more mature than I act for my own age.
Do you think part of why you're mature is you were thrown into the spotlight at a young age?
I think that is a big reason why. And then I think my parents just prepared me for, the NBA. It is a dream come true, but we got to understand at the end of the day, it's just a cutthroat league. You don't know what can happen.
Yeah. When you were like in the period, were you a sophomore when like your sort of clips started going everywhere and everything like that?
I was a junior.
Junior.
Was there? I was going to ask this. Like, was there a moment? Because like I grew up where there was like Bob Gibbons and rankings, and if you got really good, you'd maybe make the McDonald's game. But like, there was no Instagram, and there certainly shout out Overtime, but there certainly was an Overtime that was posting clips that you could go access. Right? Was there like a specific moment or game or clip where you were like, oh, I'm a big deal?
I'm gonna say my junior year. I'm in this little small gym in Columbia, South Carolina, like, one of those church gyms. And I scored 47 points, but nobody cared about that part. It was the 3 or 4, like, nasty dunks that I did that Overtime, Ball's Life, Elite Mixtapes, Famous Lows, all of them got their hands on. And I went from this number 12 from Spartanburg Day to the 16-year-old that looks like a grown man.
Yeah. Did you know, like, right when you got off the court that was happening, or did you, like, find out after the fact?
I think my friends, the people around me, kind of got more hyped for me. It was, dude, I was, like, watching, because I remember in high school my junior year, started off with 3,000 followers. And the season, as the season would go on, kids would look at my Instagram like, dude, you picked up like 6,000 followers in this like one class period. That's crazy. Like, and they would like tally how many I'd pick up. And after a while, it was like, all right, man, it's just Instagram. Like, relax.
What do you have right now? Around, buddy.
Like 4.4 million.
So, I mean, I'm sort of interested in this, like you're talking about, because clearly just based off of everything you've done so far on and off the court, you just carry yourself with a level of maturity and just like, your parents aside, like how do you, there's so many examples of kids who get sort of well known, not even just in sports, but in everything. And it kind of throws them off, because like I think about like myself when I was that age, and it's like, I was like a dipshit and like I wasn't even famous. You know what I mean? Like it's so easy to do when you're a young kid. So like, how do you have the foresight to be like, okay, it's just Instagram? You know what I mean? When so many kids, it gets to them in either way. Like, what do you think that was?
Honestly, I think it's social media. I think people allow social media to dictate their opinions more than they should. And I mean, I'm just playing the game I love. I know people say it's a corny answer, it's cheesy, but I just genuinely love basketball. So as long as I get to do that, I'm fine.
I remember when these clips started becoming viral, and you'd every few days something right on Ball is Life or Overtime, you'd see it on Instagram. House of Highlights would put something up. Zion did this tonight or whatever. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, that's great, but like, can this guy actually play, right? And then you committed to Duke, and I was like, all right, he probably is pretty good if he committed to Duke. Just kidding. But do you feel like, I think Vince Carter used to talk about this early in his career, but like you're known for like a singular athletic feat, right? The dunk, right? But there's so much more to you as a player. Does that ever bother you?
It's funny you say that. It actually did bother me a little bit. I was like, geez, Christ, like I can do something other than, I have to get to the rim somehow.
Yeah.
And it's part of the reason why I went to Duke. Coach K came to me and he saw everything but the dunks. He was like, it's a dunk. It's 2 points, nobody cares. But he saw every other part of my game that I wanted the world to see. And that meant something to me. I said, I want to play for a coach who actually knows my game, who knows how much value I bring to it. So I think for Coach K to see that in me, it meant a lot, because the whole dunking thing, I was like, I'm not getting 50 points off straight dunks. Like,
yeah,
it just can't happen.
Did you grow up a Duke fan? We've kind of talked about this.
I'm one to always say I never was really like a fan of like no team, but I did grow up like watching you, Nolan, Shire. It was crazy because I was looking at Nikhil like, Nikhil, do you realize I did half of what JJ did, but he just did it from beyond the arc. I did it like layups, like getting to the rim and stuff. He did it all like
thank you
threes, and it was crazy.
Did you played AU with Ja Morant?
Yeah, I played with Ja when we were like nobodies. My freshman year, summer, and his sophomore summer.
How good was that team?
Me and Ja, we were like the role players.
I'm sorry, what?
Like, it's actually
Wait, who are the stars? You guys were the number 1 and 2 pick in the draft.
we were the role players. What people don't know is it's a dude that goes to Ole Miss now, Devontae Shuler. Like in South Carolina, he was the guy. And I remember I used to play with him. I'm playing up age group, but I'm watching him play. Like, man, this dude is just going coast to coast, finishing, pulling up transition 3 like he's Curry. I'm like, I'm just a 9th grader. Nobody knows who I am. He's like top 30 in the nation. Just a certified bucket. Me and Ja just look at each other sometimes like, man, came a long way. Like,
Yeah.
nobody knew us.
I'll say. What do you think the biggest switching from high school to Duke? What do you think the biggest challenge was? And then I'm going to ask. Obviously, you haven't played yet this year, but just in terms of like preparation and everything like that for this as well.
The biggest transition from high school to Duke was the amount of talent I was surrounded by. In high school, if you're the guy, like, you can never be threatened to be put on the bench. It's not going to happen. I got to Duke where RJ and Cam are ranked in front of me, and, I'm like, man, these guys are elite. I'm looking at Cam like, Cam, you're Tracy McGrady, Penny Hardaway, like, just matched together. Like, Cam is so cold, and RJ, like, he was just the dog. Like, he was that dude. And I'm looking at, like, the other players, like Trey, Jack, Jav, and, when you play for Coach K, your role could change from high school to college, obviously, but he can make it in a way to where somebody off the bench who nobody knew about could come in and take your spot. And he always made it like that. And I think that always had people on edge to always stay prepared and be ready.
Did he ever bench you? Did you ever get benched for a period of time?
Mine was during the summer.
Okay.
When we were at summer workouts.
This is before your freshman year, you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah. We were at summer practice with Duke. And, he has the white team and the blue team. I was always with the white team at first. I think it was like a week span when kind of whenever we would scrimmage, he'd go, all right, Z, you're on the blue team. First, I'm like, what? Nothing against it, but you're like, wait, hold on. Am I on the second team?
Yeah.
So, but he did it for a reason. He plays mind games so well that he said, I just wanted to bring the beast out in you. Like, he felt like I was holding back because I had other stars around me. And him putting me on the blue team really made me come out of my shell and attack those guys and always make my presence known on the court.
I was going to say, just in general, this has nothing to do with Coach K, but for any like coach to tell you to switch your practice jersey color is literally the greatest mind fuck ever.
It's like
right?
everything you thought.
Because like if you're on the second team, you get switched to the first team. You're like, oh, what is this? Did I do something right? And vice versa. You're like, oh, am I getting demoted? Like, what is going on? Sometimes they just want to see a lineup combination. Like that's all they want to see.
But especially like the summer, it's such a sort of like high profile, high hyped summer, and all of a sudden you're like, oh.
Man.
How has the daily preparation as a pro, how has that been? Because it's different, obviously, than high school, college. This is your only sort of thing you do. This is your job. And how has that daily preparation, daily routine been for you? And obviously it's been different because you're recovering from an injury. But
my little bit of time and, watching everybody, just being around the league, the preparation is completely different. In college, it's organized. It's, all right, everybody, we're going to eat breakfast at this time. We're going to go to the arena at this time. We're going to stretch, this, that. Now you're in a situation of you get what you put out of it. Some guys, like, I watch JJ go in the weight room and stretch for 20, 30 minutes and get activated. Other guys could probably just sit there, wait till game time and go, all right, let's go play. And it's different. I think everybody has to find what they need to learn about their body, and once they do that, the preparation is different because Now you're a pro. You're held accountable. This isn't, all right, like you go sleep in your dorm, sleep over the night, come to practice. It's not that. It's different. I will say that.
There's an autonomy that happens. There's you eventually, whether it happens your rookie year or for me, it was like towards the end of my second year, or definitely my third year, was like you just sort of take ownership of that part of your job, and you're saying, no, this is what I'm going to put into it every day, regardless of what the outcome is, regardless of what the result is. This is what I'm going to own, and I'll live with the result after that. And that's, I probably hit it a little earlier than most, but that's only because I had, really good vets like Rashard showing me to do that, how to do that every day. Hopefully we'll get to that point, man. Hopefully in 10 years when you have your own podcast, you'll be
the year you have a more popular podcast than us, and we're just going to be what's a normal road trip look like for you?
Man, now it's crazy. Rehab is harder than practice. For me, no more road trip. I'll come in for practice. I'll probably get in like an hour early, get stretched, activated. Then I'll go do player development where I'm going. And then we'll go watch like film, like 70% of the time, unless we have like a day off between the game. Then we'll go out onto the court. And today was my first day of practice, but before that I would just kind of watch. They just go walk through some stuff and get up some jumpers. If you want to stay after, you do that. We get on the plane. Everybody's like, all right, like, I'm going to dinner. I'm going to go do this. Oh, yeah, I'll join. Trajan or the training staff. Come on, Z, we have like some work to do. Like, I told him I was just doing some movement work because I had to get some movement work in, or I'll get a lift in, or I have to go to the arena later. So lately it's been time consuming. That I'll feel bad sometimes. Like my teammates will ask me, "You want to go to dinner?" I want to go, but I'm not gonna say yeah because I might get off the plane and somebody might say, "Z, we got to go do this."
Well, that's also, to your point, that's the difference between pros and when you're at this level. It's like you got to do what the boss says. It's like, we're doing this, you got to go do it. Have you gotten to enjoy New Orleans?
New Orleans, it's my kind of city. I think it's a lot going on, but it's also very calm, and it's a place where I can actually drive a car without being stuck in traffic for 40, 50 minutes. But it's my kind of city. A lot going on, but still calm.
I feel like that's a pretty good description of it. That's one of the reasons I love it. Like, you have everything that you would love about like a smaller city, but there's endless things to do.
Yeah.
It's special.
JJ was dumping on the food scene earlier.
I wasn't dumping on the food scene. I provided a hot take on the food scene. And here's my hot take. I'll just explain it in a very short way. But basically I said, incredible food, incredible restaurants. I haven't had a lot of complete meals that I would say like, oh, that place is great. Everything there was good. But I'll go to a restaurant and I'll eat 4 or 5 things and I'll say that one thing was the best version of that I've ever had. That one thing was just one of the best things I've ever eaten. But I'm not going to go back and order those same 4 things. That's all I said. Agree or disagree?
Agree. I'll walk into a restaurant, look at the menu. Like Drew Reed's spot, walk-ons. You'll expect it to be like a burger, fries, hot dogs and stuff. The menu is like versatile. It's seafood, like salad. Like it has everything. Like you're like, y'all sell this here? Like, come on. Like, yeah. So somebody will be like, what does that restaurant sell? Everything. What about that one? Everything. It's just a matter of what you get that one time you go there. So
have you done the beignets?
Yeah, I have done the beignets. I've done them once. Delicious.
They're dangerous.
They're dangerous. So that's why I've only had them once.
And the 24-hour thing is like is really a problem because you say you're gonna have it once and all of a sudden it's 1:30 in the morning and you're hungry and they're just sitting there waiting.
They're dangerous, man.
Would you agree that a beignet is a donut, right? We can all agree on that?
Yes.
It's basically the same thing, right? Beignet is a donut, okay?
Yep.
So I think I've talked to you about this before, but every Sunday if I'm home with my kids, we go get donuts. They refuse to go get beignets. So there's only one place they'll go, which is like District Donuts on Magazine Street. We go every Sunday, like every single Sunday we're there. They won't eat beignets.
That's weird.
It's just a ball of fried dough with powdered sugar.
By the way,
like, what else is
the best donut in America is in Los Angeles.
Streetcar?
Santa Monica.
Were you on the trip? I last time we were in LA, or did you come on that trip? Because I brought Streetcar donuts on the plane. Because we stayed over Sunday night. Monday morning, I brought them to the plane.
I'm bringing you guys.
Did you have one?
I'm bringing you guys some tomorrow.
All right.
I'm bringing them. I have a question for both of you guys. So this has affected you when you were at Duke in sort of different ways. But Zion, I was thinking about this. The game, I forget who was it. Was it the Carolina game where the game that Obama was at, and you got hurt really, really early on in the game?
Man, it was that game.
Which is sort of a crazy, talk about like a regular season game, but just has an insane amount of hype. But like one of the things that I was thinking about after that, like you sort of became this kind of flagpole for people criticizing the NCAA and talking about how like, oh, why isn't he getting paid? All these different things like this. And you're just playing, like you're not involved. So when that kind of thing happens, are you paying attention to it? Are you blocking everything out? Like where's your like headspace?
My headspace was kind of just, at the time, ignore it. I'm there. There's nothing I can do to change that immediately. Maybe now I can voice something and it'll eventually change. But at the moment, there's nothing I can do except just play the game I love at the school I love. So,
was there any thought to shutting it down after that?
No, everybody kept telling me that, and actually, and I was like, no, I want to try to go win a national championship. Like, and the bond I built with those guys in those few months was incredible, and like, I genuinely, as a person, like, I would have felt bad if I would have felt selfish, and I couldn't do that to myself or my teammates. I would have been like, I can't let y'all down like that. So I told them from the moment they started hearing it, I'm coming back. Like, ignore all that.
You told me that you actually considered coming back for your sophomore year. That was a thought you had, which would have been the craziest thing ever. Has anybody done that in the last, maybe Duncan did it, but nobody's done that in the last 25 years.
I
right?
don't think anyone has done
was going to be the number one pick and then just like, nah, I'm going to do another year of college.
Not that I can remember.
How many days did you say to yourself, hey, I might go back? How many hours?
It was like the deadline. I think at the deadline when you had to declare, you had to say, all right, what are you going to do, declare or not? Me, I wanted to go back. Nobody ever believes me. They think I'm just saying that, but no. I genuinely wanted to go back. I felt like the NBA wasn't going anywhere. The money thing, that's money. Like, I don't play this for money. I play it because I genuinely love the game. I just loved my experience at Duke that much where I wanted to stay. But it was one of those situations where Coach K is not going to let me come back, because he wants me to do what's best for the family. My teammates are, saying, man, that would be dope if you come back. But at the same time, they're telling me I would be leaving too much. I did work this long to get to that. It was tough. At the end of the day, I think it was kind of my mom. She said, she's going to support me whatever I do. So I was like, all right, I'm going back. And then, I think her and my stepdad talked about it. And they were like, you worked too hard to get to this moment. You'd feel bad if you left it. So I said, I did work for this since I was 4 and 5. So let me go.
Your teammates also were leaving. So I feel like that makes it like RJ and Gamma. So that you guys were in a similar spot where not speaking for them now, but you're in this place where you guys accomplished a huge amount as freshmen, but you also are now taking the jump and trying something new and being like, how can we take the success we've had in college and bring it to the next level?
I think it was just a matter of wherever we go, we got to find our role.
Yeah.
Coach K talks about role. I learned a lot from him in those few months. It's actually crazy to me. Him and my stepdad would always talk about finding your role. I think once you find your role and excel in that, then you'll be able to branch off into doing more things. So that was our goal, you know, where we go, find our role, excel in it, and that will allow us to have bigger roles.
Did he ever use the Broadway show
He used
analogy with you? Because that's the
used
one he
Beyonce.
used to always use with us, was like, if you watch a Broadway show, right, it could be like the 6th most important lead, right? And they've got a star in their role that night. The understudy, right, has to star in their role. And then eventually, like, if you star in your role, maybe you get the lead. Maybe you're on the marquee someday.
Yeah.
Like you whatever your role is, star in that role. I thought that was great. Because like you come in as a freshman, maybe not you, but like you come as a freshman, or you know, maybe things aren't happening as quick as you want. You come in as a rookie. For me in the NBA, it was like I had to figure out, like, in my role, my first few years, fuck, man, it was very minimal. I was the guy getting coffee for people.
Who have you been impressed by watching so far this year that like surprised you?
That surprised me. I would say Etwan more. Because I remember the first time I heard about Etwan was through our player development coach, Brandon. He goes, you know, I can't wait till training camp. It's going to be this dude named Etwan. He comes in the gym. Nobody know him. Nobody thinks he can hoop. He's a bucket. And I was like, all right, I can't wait to meet Etwan. Well, sure enough, that happened. Training camp came, Etwan came, and a bucket. And he's impressed me, not only on court, but off court. You know, he would probably, I think he's had a span where he didn't touch the floor for 2-3 games. Never bothered. He was like, you know, I know my role. I know what I can bring to the team. When the team's ready, they'll bring me. And he always stays ready. I think that's why when he goes to the game, he has the impact he has, because he knows his role and he knows what he can bring to the table.
He is like legitimately a pro's pro. He is a professional, and he's a professional bucket getter for sure. We want to be respectful of your time. My last question to you is just, you know, mentally, what has been the biggest challenge over these last 8 to 10 weeks as you're doing your recovery? Has it been the actual like monotony of rehab? Has it been not being able to play? What has been the biggest challenge?
I think the biggest challenge has been just a challenge of rehab. You know how tough it is just for hours, you know, people watching you, like how you like land, how you like bend when you do this motion, and over, like make sure that knee doesn't cave in, make sure it stays out, make sure it's above the third toe, make sure you're standing straight, land like this. And even when I just got on the court, it's still the same. You know, when you hear it for so long, it does bother you a bit, but I think with the Pelicans, you know, I have people around me just saying, you know, it's going to pay off. You know, there's a reason why you're doing this. You're going to come back even better. And I do feel that. I feel my body does feel a lot better.
That's great. Well, Z, thank you for being a good rookie. And I look forward to actually being on the court with you. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. Appreciate you.
No problem, man.